I served my husband's family mac and cheese for dinner. So, my husband Jake and I have been married for 2 years. And his mom Carol has always been this really passive-aggressive type who makes these little comments. Like, when we got engaged, she literally said, "Oh well, I guess everyone finds someone eventually." Real charmer, right? Anyway, last month, Jake's whole family was coming over for Sunday dinner. His parents, his sister Beth, her husband, and their 2 kids. Carol had been dropping hints for weeks about how she hoped I'd make an effort since the whole family would be there. She kept texting Jake about how his grandmother's pot roast recipe would be so meaningful and how important family traditions are. The thing is, I actually cook pretty well. I make homemade bread. I can do a decent roast. I've even made Jake's favorite lasagna from scratch. But this particular Sunday, I had been working double shifts all week at the hospital where I'm a nurse, and I was absolutely exhausted. Could barely keep my eyes open. Exhausted. So, Saturday night, I'm standing in my kitchen at 9 p.m., and I realize I have literally nothing planned for this dinner. The grocery stores are closed. I've got maybe half a package of ground beef in my freezer and some random vegetables. I'm panicking because I know Carol is going to have something to say no matter what I make. Then, I remember I've got this box of Kraft mac and cheese in my pantry. Not even the fancy kind with the cheese sauce packets, just the regular powder stuff. And something in my brain just snapped like, you know what? I'm done trying to impress this woman who's never going to like me anyway. So Sunday comes around and I make this mac and cheese. But here's the thing. I don't just dump it in a bowl. I transfer it to my nice serving dish, the one we got for our wedding. I even put a little paprika on top to make it look fancy. I set the table with our good china and light some candles. The family shows up at 5 p.m. sharp because Carol is one of those people who's exactly on time for everything. Jake lets them in, and I can already see Carol scanning the kitchen, probably looking for signs of whatever elaborate meal she's expecting. We all sit down at the table, and I bring out this beautiful serving dish. Carol's face just lights up because she thinks I finally made something worthy of her precious family dinner. She's probably thinking I made some fancy baked mac and cheese with 3 different cheeses or something. I serve everyone their portions with this big smile on my face. The kids dig in immediately because, let's be honest, kids love mac and cheese. But then Carol takes her first bite, and I watch her face just freeze. She chews really slowly, and I can literally see the moment she realizes what she's eating. Her eyes get wide and she looks at Jake, then at me, then back at her plate like she can't believe what just happened. "This is," she starts to say, and I jump in real cheerful and go, "Kraft mac and cheese." I thought we'd keep it simple today. The table goes completely silent, except for the kids who are happily eating away. Jake's dad is trying not to laugh. I can see his shoulders shaking. Beth is staring at her plate like she's afraid to look up. And Carol just sits there with this expression like I've personally insulted her entire bloodline. Finally, she puts her fork down and goes, "Well, this is certainly different." I just smile and say, "I know. Sometimes the classics are the best, right?" This is actually Jake's favorite brand from when he was a kid. Which was true. Jake had told me he used to beg his mom for Kraft mac and cheese, but she always insisted on making everything from scratch. Jake's trying so hard not to lose it. He takes a big bite and goes, just like I remember." And then his dad actually starts chuckling and says something about how he hasn't had the box stuff in years and forgot how good it was. But Carol is just sitting there fuming. She takes maybe 3 more bites and then announces she's not very hungry and just pushes her food around her plate for the rest of dinner. When we were cleaning up afterwards, Carol corners me in the kitchen and goes, "You know, when you're hosting family dinner, people expect a certain level of effort." And I just looked at her and said, "Oh, I put in exactly the amount of effort this dinner deserved." She knew exactly what I meant. She didn't say another word to me the rest of the Storie 2. My girlfriend announced at dinner, "I deliberately scared your mom earlier because she disrespected me. My mom has a heart condition." I said, "What did you do?" Then she bragged about jumping out and screaming at her. When I called 911, because mom was having chest pains and had my girlfriend escorted out by police. I, 29, male, was having dinner with my girlfriend at this Italian place we go to sometimes. Been together about 18 months. Things were decent. You know, She had her moments where she'd get worked up over small stuff, but I figured everyone has quirks. We're halfway through our entree when she gets this look on her face, like she's about to tell me she won big on a scratch-off or something. So, I took care of that situation with your mom today. I looked up from my plate. What situation? The disrespect. I handled it. Okay, context. My mom's been living with me for 6 months now. She had a heart attack last year. Needed stances. Whole 9 yards. Her cardiologist has been super clear that stress is basically her kryptonite. One spike in blood pressure or heart rate, and we could be looking at another cardiac event. She's on like 5 different medications and has to keep everything calm. My girlfriend knew all of this. We talked about it multiple times. Well, what are you talking about? She leaned back, looking way too proud of herself. Your mom's been making these passive-aggressive comments all week. How I load the dishwasher wrong. How I organize the pantry wrong. Acting like she owns the place. She lives there. I said, and what did you do exactly? Okay, so you know how she takes that walk every afternoon. Goes around the block, same time every day. Well, today I hid in the bushes by the front steps. When she came back up, I jumped out and screamed right in her face. Everything just stopped. You did what? I jumped out and screamed at her really loud. Right in her face. She needed to learn I'm not someone to mess with. God, you should have seen her face. She almost fell backwards. It was perfect. I was already standing up, throwing bills on the table. Didn't even count them. We need to go now. What? Why? We haven't had dessert. My mom has a heart condition. You know this. You just told me you deliberately scared someone with a serious heart condition. I roll. Actual eye roll. Oh my God, she's fine. She went inside after. Stop being dramatic. I was already outside calling my mom. Took her a few rings to pick up, and her voice sounded off. Hey, honey. Mom, are you okay? What happened this afternoon? Long pause. I'm feeling a bit strange. Some pressure in my chest. It's probably nothing. Did you take your nitroglycerin? Not yet. I was just about to. Don't cut your dinner short. I'm fine. I'm already in the car. If it gets worse at all, you call 911. I'll be there soon. My girlfriend caught up in the parking lot. Are you seriously leaving me here? Get an Uber. Don't come to my house. Excuse me, that's my home too. No, it's not. Your name isn't on anything. You crash there sometimes. Big difference. I drove off while she was mid-sentence. Got home to find my mom on the couch, pale, one hand on her chest. The nitro bottle was sitting on the coffee table, but she hadn't taken any yet. How bad? It's pressure. Like something heavy on my chest. Started maybe half an hour ago. Called 911 right there. Gave them everything. Address, her cardiac history, current symptoms. Mom, what exactly happened this afternoon? She took a shaky breath. I came back from my walk, and your girlfriend jumped out from the bushes, screaming at the top of her lungs. I thought I was dying right there on the steps. My chest clamped up immediately. I made it inside and sat down hoping it would pass. Paramedics showed up pretty quick, did vitals. EKG on the couch. Blood pressure was way up. Heart rhythm was off. They wanted to transport her for monitoring. I went in the ambulance with her. Sent my girlfriend a text. Mom's being transported to the hospital. You deliberately caused a cardiac episode. Don't contact me. Her response was instant. OMG, you are such a drama queen. She's fine. This is typical manipulation from her. Can't believe you're falling for this. Blocked her number. At the hospital, they admitted my mom for observation. With her history, they weren't taking chances. Adjusted her meds, ran a bunch of tests, kept her overnight. I camped out in the chair next to her bed. Late that night, there was yelling in the hallway. My girlfriend had showed up at the ER demanding to see me. Security ended up involved. She was going off about how I'd abandoned her at dinner, how this was all fake, how my mom was attention-seeking. One of the nurses came in. Is that woman family? No, she's my ex as of tonight. She's the reason my mom is here. She deliberately scared her knowing about her heart condition. The nurse's whole face changed. Does security need to remove her? Please. Could hear her screaming all the way down the hall. You'll regret this. I didn't do anything wrong. Your mom disrespected me. The ER doctor came in after she was gone. Couldn't help but hear that. Did someone intentionally startle your mother, knowing about her cardiac condition? Yeah. My girlfriend told me at dinner, said she hid in the bushes and jumped out screaming at her to teach her a lesson. His jaw tightened. That's assault. Maybe worse. You should file a police report. Update 1. Mom got released the next day. Her cardiologist added another med to her routine. Told her to take it super easy for a few weeks and wrote up detailed notes about what happened. I went straight to the police station and filed a report. Laid out everything. Mom's heart condition, girlfriend's deliberate actions, the hospital stay. The cop took it seriously, especially when I showed him the texts where she bragged about it and then called my mom manipulative. This could be assault or reckless endangerment. Maybe both. We'll send it to the DA. Meanwhile, my phone was exploding with messages from her friends. She posted on social media about being victimized by her boyfriend's controlling mother. Her version had zero mention of deliberately scaring someone with a medical condition. Just poor her, standing up for herself, now being punished. Her best friend actually called me. You need to fix the situation. She's devastated. You humiliated her in public, abandoned her at a restaurant, had her thrown out of a hospital. What's your problem? She hid in bushes and jumped out screaming at my mom, who has a documented heart condition. My mom ended up in the ER overnight. What part of that is okay? She was just messing around. Your mom's being dramatic. My mom needed cardiac monitoring. That's not dramatic. Tell your friend she's lucky if assault charges are all she gets. Hung up on her. Then her mother called. I'd met this woman maybe twice. My daughter says you've been abusive this whole relationship, and your mother's been turning you against her. Ma'am, your daughter intentionally scared my mother, who has a serious heart condition, badly enough to send her to the ER. Then showed up at the hospital screaming, and got removed by security. There's a police report. These are documented facts. She told me your mother was being passive-aggressive and disrespectful in your home. It's my home, my name on the deed. My mom lives with me recovering from a heart attack. Your daughter stays over sometimes. And even if my mom was rude, which she wasn't, that doesn't make it okay to deliberately trigger a cardiac event. You're twisting her words. She would never. Police report and hospital records say otherwise. Tell her to stop contacting me. Blocked that number too. Couple days later, my apartment complex called my girlfriend had shown up saying she lived there and needed a key because her abusive boyfriend locked her out. The manager knew what was up. I told her only you're on the lease. She started screaming about tenant rights. I had to threaten police before she'd leave. If she comes back, go ahead and call them. She's not welcome. Then she really went off the rails. Filed a restraining order against me. Claimed I was harassing her, threatening her, that she feared for her safety. Wanted the court to order me to stay away from her and stop using my mother against her. Got served with papers for a hearing. My lawyer, same guy who did my house closing, almost laughed. She assaulted your mother and now claims she needs protection from you. This is going to backfire hard. The DA's office called me in for a statement. The assistant DA reviewed everything. Medical records, texts, the 911 recording. So, your girlfriend admitted to deliberately startling someone she knew had a heart condition. That person needed emergency medical treatment, and then she showed up at the hospital to keep harassing you. Correct. And now she filed for a restraining order against you. Yep, she actually smiled. We're prosecuting this. Reckless endangerment minimum. Her restraining order hearing should be entertaining. Update 2. The restraining order hearing was a train wreck for her. She showed up with her mom and best friend, all dressed up like they were going to a funeral, really playing the victim hard. Her petition said I was controlling and abusive, that I'd isolated her from everyone, that I'd threatened her after a minor disagreement with my mother. When she testified, she went full performance mode. Tears, shaking voice, everything. He completely changed when his mother moved in, got cold and mean. When I tried to set boundaries, he went crazy. The judge looked unimpressed. What boundaries? I asked his mother to respect that it was my home too. She kept criticizing me. I finally confronted her. How did you confront her? And here's where she messed up. She knew the police report existed. I told her she needed to respect me. Just talking. Pause. I might have raised my voice. Anything else? I maybe startled her a little bit. Judge put down his pen. How? When she came back from a walk, I was outside and said something, and she got scared. It was an accident. My lawyer stood up. Your Honor, I have evidence. Submitted the text where she bragged about hiding and jumping out screaming. The 911 recording, ER records. My mom's cardiologist letter explaining how stress could literally kill her. The judge's expression went from bored to pissed as he read through it. Ma'am, you texted that you hid in the bushes and jumped out screaming at his mother. You bragged about scaring her, then called her manipulative when she ended up in the emergency room. This petition is denied, and I'm sending everything to the district attorney. Her lawyer looked like he wanted to die, but she kept going. That's not what happened. He's lying. His mother is faking. We're done here. The judge cut her off. Petition denied. Next case outside, her mom started in again. You manipulated that, Judge. You did this on purpose. I submitted evidence. That's called facts. My lawyer stepped between us. Ma'am, your daughter's own text messages proved deliberate actions that caused a medical emergency. I suggest you stop harassing my client before you join her in facing charges. They left. Best friend filming me on her phone like that would help. Criminal charges came through about a week later. Reckless endangerment. The DA said they could have done assault, but reckless endangerment was cleaner with the medical evidence. She had to turn herself in, got arraigned, posted bail. The harassment stopped after that. Her lawyer probably told her to shut up, but the entitlement kicked into overdrive. Started a whole fundraiser online, claiming she was facing false charges from her abusive ex and needed legal fees. Spun this story about being persecuted for standing up to a toxic man and his manipulative mother. Got some donations until someone posted the actual police report and court docs in the comments. Fundraiser got nuked. Her job found out about the charges. She worked at a senior living facility. They suspended her immediately because she deliberately endangered an elderly person with a heart condition. She started calling from random numbers. Same script every time. This wasn't fair. She didn't mean for anything bad to happen. Couldn't I just make it go away? I can't drop criminal charges. The state is prosecuting. But you could tell them it was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. You planned it and bragged about it. She ended up hospitalized. Those are facts. I was just trying to set boundaries. By hiding in bushes and terrorizing someone with a heart condition, that's not boundaries. That's assault. You're ruining my life over nothing. You endangered my mother because she commented on the dishwasher. This is consequences. Blocked that number. Her best friend tried showing up at my place. I didn't answer, but my camera got everything. We know you're home. You need to drop this. She's losing everything because of you. Just tell the DA it was a misunderstanding. Called the cops? They showed up, saw the footage, told her she was trespassing. She tried arguing she was helping her friend. Your friend is facing charges for endangering someone. Harassing the victims doesn't help. Leave or get arrested. She left screaming about how we'd get what we deserve. More footage for the file. Final update. Trial happened about 4 months after everything started. Not dramatic like TV, pretty straightforward. Prosecution showed the evidence. Texts admitting she hid and jumped out. 911 call. AITA record. Mom's medical history. Cardiologist testimony about how her condition makes stress potentially fatal. Her defense tried arguing she didn't intend harm. Just wanted to startle my mom a bit to make a point. Prosecutor shut it down. The defendant knew the victim had a serious heart condition. She planned and executed an action designed to cause fear and shock. The resulting medical emergency was foreseeable. My mom had to testify. That sucked to watch. She described the terror, the immediate chest pain, thinking she was dying. I testified about the dinner, how proud my girlfriend seemed, how she kept harassing us after. Jury was out maybe 3 hours. Guilty on reckless endangerment. Sentencing took a few more weeks. 2 years probation, 200 hours community service. Anger management classes, 5-year restraining order, and restitution for medical bills, about $8,000 after insurance. Her lawyer begged for mercy, said she was young and made a mistake. Judge wasn't having it. The defendant admitted to premeditated actions, targeting someone with a known medical vulnerability. She showed no remorse. She harassed the victims, lied in court, tried to profit from playing victim. This wasn't a mistake. This was deliberate endangerment, followed by sustained harassment. She cried in court. Her mom wailed about injustice. Judge ignored them. Lost her job at the senior facility. Conviction meant she can't work with vulnerable people anymore. Heard she moved back with her parents. Still posts online about being wrongfully convicted and how the system failed her. Zero accountability. Still the victim in her own mind. Mom's doing way better now. Her cardiologist is happy with her progress. We moved to a new place a while back. Fresh start, better security, no more Bush-related trauma. I'm good too. Still wrapping my head around how someone I dated for a year and a half could do something so reckless and feel nothing about it. The complete lack of empathy was terrifying. Started seeing someone new recently. Took it slow. She met my mom early. Casual coffee shop thing. They got along great. No drama, no territorial nonsense, no guerrilla warfare. It's wild how peaceful things are when you're not dating someone who thinks terrorizing your elderly mother is appropriate conflict resolution. Restraining order's good for 5 years. By then, it won't matter because I never want to see her again anyway. People ask if I feel bad about ruining her life. Nope. She chose to do something dangerous to someone vulnerable. Bragged about it, harassed us, lied in court, tried to profit off fake victimhood. Every consequence came from her own choices. My only regret is not catching the red flags earlier. The drama over small things, always needing to be right. Can't handle any criticism. All there. I just ignored it because things were mostly fine. Lesson learned. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. When someone deliberately hurts your family, no forgiveness, no second chances, no understanding. Protect your family. Pursue consequences. Move forward. That's the whole story. If you're dealing with something similar, document everything. File reports. Follow through. People who endanger others need to face real consequences. Don't let anyone guilt you into downplaying abuse. My mom is safe. That's what matters. Everything else is just paperwork.